All right, I know you know it. That foggy, spacey, can't think straight feeling that creeps out of nowhere. You can't find your words. You walk into a room, you forget why you're there. You stare at the computer and realize you've been reading the same sentence for 5 minutes. We call it brain fog, and we treat it like it's no big deal, like it's just part of being a busy woman or getting older or juggling too many things. But I'm going to say something that might surprise you. Brain fog is not normal. It is not just stress. It is not just hormones. It is not something that you have to live with. When that brain fog becomes your norm, your body isn't broken. It's talking to you. It's trying to tell you that something deeper is going on. And if you're someone who deals with migraines, that fog is part of the same conversation your body's been trying to have with you for a long time. You see, when we tend to think of brain fog and migraines as two separate things, one's in your head, one's in your brain, but there's both symptoms of the same problem. Pause. You see, we tend to think of brain fog and migraines as two separate things. One's in your head, one's in your brain. But they're both symptoms of the same problem, inflammation. And when I say inflammation, I'm not just talking about the kind that makes your knee swell when you twist it wrong. I'm talking about internal inflammation, the kind that starts quietly in your gut, your hormones, or your nervous system and spreads throughout the whole body like static electricity until your brain just can't keep up. That's when you get the fog, the confusion, the lost words, and yes, the migraines. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They treat brain fog like it's something to fix instead of something to listen to. You go to your doctor and say, I can't focus. I'm forgetting things. I'm feeling off. And what do? They hand you a prescription for an antidepressant or a stimulant. Or they'll tell you it's just stress or it's menopause or it's life. But here's the thing. When the brain is inflamed, those meds don't fix the root issue. They just quiet the signal. And your body keeps yelling louder and louder until it has to scream, usually through more migraines, worse fatigue, and deeper fog. What's really going on is that the brain is struggling to function in an inflamed environment. It's not a mindset problem. It's not a focus problem. It's a metabolic chaos. And if you could look under the hood, what you'd see is that your inflammation network, the system that connects your gut, your hormones, your nervous system, your immune system, it's overloaded. It's trying to protect you, but it's stuck in survival mode. Now, there are a few major reasons that happens. Stress is a big one. It's an inflammation inducer. Blood sugar swings are another. Poor sleep, toxins, infections, all of those things light the match. Then there are the drivers, the things that keep the fire burning. Gut dysfunction is a big one. So is hormone chaos, especially through perimenopause. When those two are out of sync, inflammation has nowhere to go but up, straight to your brain. And finally, there's genetic sensitivity, what I call your kind of your threshold. That's why two women can live in the same house, eat the same food, deal with the same stress, and one ends up with migraines and brain fog while the other one feels fine. Your genes determine how well your body can handle inflammation and recover from it. So when all three, the inducers, the drivers, and your genetics collide, that's when the fog sets in. That's when your brain slows down. And that's when your body says, I can't keep up. Please do something different. Now, I know you might be thinking, should I go get testing done? Should I check my hormones or my gut or my genetics? And here's my honest answer. Typically not yet. Testing can be helpful later once you've started addressing the basics. But when your body is inflamed, most of those numbers won't tell you the full story. You'll spend hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, and still be wondering why you feel the way that you do. I have seen it over and over again. Women with binders full of lab results, still foggy, still in pain, because they're treating the data, not the dysfunction. You do not need to chase more tests. You need to calm the system that's screaming for help. And when you do that, when you start lowering inflammation and supporting your brain's communication network, the fog will lift. Your focus sharpens. You start remembering conversations again, and your migraines begin to fade because they're part of the same system. Now, I want to be really clear about this. Forgetting your keys once in a while, totally normal. We all do it, right? If you ask me what I had for dinner 5 days ago, I'm probably not going to remember. But when you start losing track of words, zoning out halfway through the day, or feeling like you're living half present, that's not normal. That's your brain trying to get your attention. So please don't ignore it. Because I promise you, the fog isn't random, it's communication. And the good news is, once you start listening and lowering inflammation, that fog can clear. So if this sounds familiar, if you've been saying, I just don't feel like myself anymore, I want you to join me this week, Wednesday, November 5th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, for a live training where I'm going to show you exactly what's driving this inflammation and why every pill, every diet, and every gadget eventually stops working. Now, this session is going to walk you through the root cause that nobody's talking about and why it's the real key to both migraine freedom and your mental clarity. And if you're hearing this after November 5th, don't worry. Check the show notes for our next live event because your brain isn't broken. It's not failing you. It's just begging for balance. And once you give it that, everything changes. The fog lifts, the migraines calm, and you finally start feeling like you again.